Hey guys, it's Michelle Peterson. I created a quick little PowerPoint here that in, like contains stuff that I've learned about visualization from the article that we read. It's examples, both good and bad, and just different scenarios that I've seen as a teacher. And I was just going to explain them to you and kind of go over what you'll see here. This first one here, we as teachers, we go to a million meetings. And at the end of the year, we always go, our last meeting we have as a whole staff is just goes over like checkouts and state testing scores and things like that. So this is my example of like a bad PowerPoint, their visualization that you would want to show to your teachers. One thing being is you see the word agenda up there at the top. It's like it's in cursive, it's super small, super thin print. People in the back of the room, they'll never be able to see that. Also, the idea behind there is so much information on this one slide. Like, I don't know how many times we try to teach our students just to a couple words. They don't have to be complete sentences, and if they are, they just need to be short and to the point. This here just kind of goes over, I did the agenda, but I put them in complete sentences. Like today we are going to talk about state testing scores. Just on and on and on, instead of something just short and sweet. This font is decent sized here for the text, but however, it's just a lot of words that is not necessary. Now this one is a good example. The agenda, it's an easy font, it's bold, it's big, anyone in the room will be able to see it, and the bullet points on this one are short, they're to the point, just very quick run over. You obviously don't need to be having full sentences just to run through a few quick things. So obviously state test scores, end of the year checklist, classroom cleanup expectations, instead of having 5 bullets that had 10 plus words in each sentence. This is much quicker. Another thing it actually happened at our end of the year meeting. We were discussing test scores. And with this one here, one of our things that we had our admin put up on the screen, it had both math and reading. So this one over here we'll just pretend is math, and this one over here we'll pretend is reading, which obviously they're the same thing right now. But and it was so much information to process, but he was trying to get you to compare and contrast the math and the reading, even though they're two totally different subjects. But it was just a lot that you were trying to zone in on a short amount of time, and it was overwhelming. Another bad example here of why I chose this as a bad one is because with the green background, as well as the lines that are on the bar graphs, it makes it incredibly hard to read, especially from the back of the room. Obviously, these two bar graphs here, they don't really show information that you would normally try to be processing. However, if it had actual information, it would be too much information on one slide for either a teacher or a student to interpret. Now this one is a better example of a visualization. This was just pretend 4th grade math state testing scores, it has the date there, or the year. And it's the background you can see on this one is dark, so you can very easily see that contrast between the bar graphs and the background this time. Also, it's only one subject or one set of information to bring into a remember. This one here at the end of the year, we always do, or in February, we always do a famous Kansan presentation, and the students have to do research, and then they have to come up with a way to present the information to the class. I did this one as a bad example. It's not terrible, but I'll kind of go over why I chose it as a bad one. First off, normally where it says bad student example of famous Kansan, that's where they'll put their headings of whatever it may be, early life, you'll see in the upcoming slide, but it's really hard to read again. It's not a good font to be using when you're trying to present to kids all around the room. Another thing is they include lots of pictures with different colored fonts and different styles of fonts, and it's just all over the page. It's not very organized. It's not terrible. The kids will do this. They like to add that color, but I always try to show them that this is not easy for a person to process, as well as they included a bunch of different information all on one slide that sometimes can be made a little simpler. Like we have a red font and a purple font and a blue font. I always try to remind them that sometimes our eye attracts to those things, so that's what you immediately go to, and it's about processing the new information as well as the design, but the design is not near as important. This one is a good example of a famous Kansan. We have one font style, whether it be colored or simply brown like it is here. They included one picture, and the reasoning here behind it being a good example is it's just about the early life of Dwight D. Eisenhower. It doesn't have his entire life. It's not a bunch of information. It's just grouped together for it to make more sense. And that's all I have. Thanks, guys.